Emmeline, a name that means hard-working and striving for excellence that is universal or complete. Get prepared by setting your controls and zooming out for a better view of Cairn. Personally, I use move 2 on left click, default attack on 2, with our main attack going on 1. Loot can get overwhelming very quickly, so turn off white items, but also turn on double rares. That will become more important later when we turn off greens. Rotating the camera with the middle mouse button, we can claim this lore note. So with Emmeline, we shall complete all our 11 hardcore achievements for Grim Dawn. Avoid the tanky shield guy, he takes a while to kill, especially on veteran, and he hits hard. Ouch! For hardcore, it is important to keep our health at least 100 times higher than our level. Picking soldier and investing in the mastery bar early ensures this goal will never be a problem. After our first level up, we pick soldier, force wave, and start putting points into our mastery bar for more survivability, ensuring that nothing in Act 1 will put us in any danger whatsoever. Foreshadowing. The route to Hevel's greatsword is blocked, so we look for another way around. You will notice that I get lost easily and have meagre piloting skills at best, so I am far from a pro player. But as long as we keep our resistances high, get prepared for what's ahead, and pay attention, then hardcore mode is relatively easy. The plan is getting to the tremor modifier so Emmeline can force wave spam, then increase the mastery bar, picking up rending force and internal trauma along the way. This sword is a guaranteed drop and efficiently cuts through these early game mobs while we wait for our force wave cooldown. Grab every lore note that you come across to level as high as you can during this act. We are aiming to be facing Krieg at level 20 in order to make use of purified salt and its aether resist ability. The first side quest is rescuing Faldus, who can be found over the river wallowing in self-pity like I did for 3 days straight after dying to Krieg on my first hardcore playthrough. But he is soon up and at him.
Up and at them.
After a short pep talk from us, and we head north to the Burial Hill waypoint. Our goals for Act 1 are as follows. We do as many side quests as we can. 7 devotion shrines. All totems, yes, even that one, don't worry, you'll be fine. 80% elemental and poison resists. And we'll also aim for around 50% bleed, pierce and aether resist. After leveling and picking Tremor, Force Wave is now spammable and becomes our main damage source forever.
Forever, ever, forever, ever.
Even though we are playing Soldier, energy should not be too much of an issue for us because we are investing into the mastery bar so early. We're likely to need 1 energy pot for Krieg, but other than that, Emmeline will be fine. If you put too many points into Force Wave damage without investing into the mastery bar, that is when you will see issues with energy regen, and also death. So although extra damage is good, well, you can't do damage if you're dead. The Burial Cave is where we will meet our first boss, and using my fantastic skills at this game, we will basically stand there, face tank him, while carefully watching our health and being ready to pop a potion if we need to. Yes, you can kite him, yes you can move around, and yes you can avoid standing in stupid, but this is normal difficulty, and if you build your character correctly, then you do not need to worry about all that rootin' tootin' highfalutin fancy stuff.
You darn tootin'!
In general with hardcore, if you make a build that is skill dependent, then you need to play with a high level of skill at all times, and the smallest mistakes can prove very costly or even deadly. However, if you make a build designed with mistakes in mind, or in my case designed around face tanking and complete stupidity, then you have much more time to see death approaching and can react accordingly, and will keep us safe for all of normal mode. That is, as long as we keep our resistances high and pay attention. After the first shrine, Emmeline picks up the blue node and is on her way towards Sailor's Guide for movement speed and some elemental resistance. I hope you notice the theme of this build as we clear the rest of the cave. Stand still and spam Force Wave. Back to Devil's Crossing to turn in Bourbon's quest, pick up some more quests and empty our bags. We will be doing as many quests as possible in Act 1 in order to hit our level goal of 20 for Krieg and increasing our reputation with Devil's Crossing in the hope that one day Hangman Jarvis will remove that burn the witch look out of his eyes.
Greetings, child. Troubled my knowledge of...
See what's left of our last. Time well spent. I'll give you a good price on what I've got left. Time well spent. The cam send you out, search.
Keeping in character, Emmeline cleanses the Putrid Den by standing still and force waving everything into oblivion. Upon reaching the boss, you can see that she is never in danger and only pops her health potion when it dips below 50%. Against such well thought out battle tactics, Puskil the Hoarder never stands a chance. First totem. Our strategy is activate, then bravely run away, into an area with enough space to see what is going on and move should we need to. One of the scariest moments when activating totems is getting stuck behind mobs as they spawn, which almost happened here. However, we stand still, force wave and pop a potion at 50%. Totem done, and we get a nice belt with poison resistance.
There was script problems from day one.
Next up is Faris the Rotted. We lure him out into an open area, then, well, stand still and force wave.
It burns like a Glasgow bikini wax!
Eventually we find some slith and begin hoping for necklaces to drop. Heading into Whitemire, we find the Way Shrine and defeat the Ethereals. Look closely and notice how I move once, then return to standing still and force waving. It's moments like this where my skill at this game really shines through. It's sort of like an invisible star on the darkest night.
You're a fraud. A total fraud. It was nice meeting you.
Die, slith scum.
Emmeline yelled from under her Stardew Valley farmer's hat.
I've accidentally blown up fields of strawberries that were stronger than you.
During our search for Milton Heart, we stumble upon an aether warp totem. Always clear the area before you activate the totem, so you have plenty of space to bravely run away.
Bravely ran away.
Then stand still and force wave. The loot explosion causes us to head back to Devil's Crossing and empty our bags. Emmeline finds some nice gloves that increase her casting speed, helpful for Force Wave, which is of course a cast, not a weapon attack. We sell everything else except for the Molten Walker boots, which we save for level 14. So we turn off magic items in the loot filter because they aren't worth the time it takes to look through them anymore. Yes, there is a possibility that we might find some great magic item in Act 1, but to be honest, we would just end up replacing it in a few levels later. Foreshadowing. Of course, after saying all that, I still look through the magic items because I'm a loot addict and end up finding an upgrade to our jacket. On the way to Milton Heart, we find Julius the Decayed and give him the same highly skilled takedown that we have dished out so many times now. Truly top tier gameplay.
We would just end up replacing it in a few levels later.
Bye bye magic jacket.
I really like the vest.
Hello, stand still and force wave. Now we go looking for Slith necklaces and our next devotion shrine. Along the way we level up, invest in our mastery bar and get closer to internal trauma, which will give us some physical and bleed damage over time and a debuff on enemy attack speed. Both are things that will help us out in longer drawn out boss fights. Clear the area around the shrine, activate, bravely run away, then stand still and force wave. Riveting stuff. Bye bye Stardew Valley Farmer's Hat. We take the first node of Sailor's Guide, exit the cave, continue our slith farming and take the Foggy Bank waypoint, which means that the last target for the Something for Nothing quest is near, and you know what that means.
You win!
Time to infiltrate the cultist lair and find a hint to our first set of shoulder armour from Isaac, who sadly is no longer in need of it. If you know where to look, you can pick the armour up without having the quest first, but you forfeit the XP. Say hello again to the Stardew Valley Farmer's Hat and some lovely health regen and resistances. Nice. Torvin tasks us with finding slith necklaces, so we continue our hunt, dropping a portal to come back here quickly. And on our way to Isaac's Balders we find our first necklace, some nice resistances and level 12. Emmeline tries to explain to the Slith that she is merely a fashionista and only here to collect jewellery. However, she clearly did not spec into charisma because they do not believe her lies. Liar! And instead end up being murdered by a scrub who stands still and holds down the force wave button. What a sad way to go. Necklace number 2 and we venture underground into another cavern, hoping each time that our next leap will be the leap home. Clear the area, activate, stand still and force wave. 90% of the time it works every time. The big green loot explosion provides us with a weapon upgrade, an amulet with resistances, health regen and bonuses to force wave, and a jacket with elemental resistances.
I really like the vest.
Perfect. Level 13 sees us inch ever closer to internal trauma. We stand still and force wave the boss, who drops some leg armor with upgrades to our resistances. At this point, capping out elemental resist is our top goal. Pierce and bleed become important in Act 2, vitality and chaos in Act 3, but for now we don't need to worry about them. I love this weapon. It reminds me of the Butcher's Knife from Dark Souls, which I've actually beat several times, as hard as that might be to believe from watching my gameplay here. We continue our search for the caravan driver and slith necklaces while I reminisce about Man-Eater Mildred.
The other bell is back down below the undead berg, within a plague-infested blight town. But I'd die again before I step foot in that cesspool.
Aha, the last necklace and the caravan driver. With those taken care of, we head north to the flooded passage rift and turn in our side quests. Torvin's Ring gives us some excellent poison and elemental resist, along with some energy regen, which will come in handy as we start putting more points into force wave damage. Milton Hart's sister gives us some piece of crap amulet. What a bitch. I almost want to kill her brother again now. However, I took my medication this morning, so instead I think my happy thoughts and resolve to help out Barnabas with Devil's Crossing's water supply. In the Convict's Tunnel, the beasts fall to the might of Standing Still and Force Wave. This place is really nothing to worry about. You can see we are in no danger and easily reach level 14 where we take Internal Trauma. Upon reaching Vilith the Corruptor, I decide to take a different approach. Just kidding. I stand still and Force Wave. We get a nice ring that can be equipped at level 20, and also a sad feeling that after 300 hours of Grim Dawn, these are the only skills I have to show for it. Next, Devotion for Sailor's Guide, and we can let Barnabas know we have cleared out the Slith. Back to the flooded passage, and we make our way even further north into Burridge to secure the portal. Devil's Crossing must be in really bad shape if Bourbon has no better options than me to entrust with a mission like this. Clear the area, activate the shrine, you know the rest. %8 movement speed from Sailor's Guide, and we are zooming onto the Shambler. I really hope he isn't immune to Standing Still and Force Wave. He wasn't. We arrive in Burridge outskirts and pick up Duncan's quest. He wants us to find his master Angrim and take his hammer. Better not be heavy, that's all I can say. I am not lugging that thing all the way back to him. These skilled artisan hands are made for force waving, not carrying around some blacksmith's tool like some sort of common peasant. On the way, we try a run of the cultists outside the sanctuary for a chance at a drop of the key. Even if we find it, we will not go inside now. These guys outside use elemental and poison damage, however the ones inside are higher level, more deadly, and use chaos and vitality damage. In other words, we stay true to character and bravely run away.
Bravely run away, away.
Instead, we go looking for Angrim and recruit him to Devil's Crossing.
Move on up.
Clear the area, activate Totem, then stand still and force wave. Although this weapon has buffs to attack speeds, which are no use to us because force wave is a cast, I pick it up because of the 3% attack damage converted to health, which is no use to us because force wave is a cast. Yeah, top tier gameplay right here, I did warn you. So after downgrading our weapon, we go looking for Ulgrim in the other burial cave for the next devotion shrine, but instead find Smuggler's Basin. I wonder how this will go. We are told that a presence more powerful than us dwells in this place. Should be fine, right?
Nothing in Act 1 will put us in any danger whatsoever.
We make decent damage as he hits us with some bleed damage and debuffs, and Emmeline manages to heal through them at first. However, I start to get worried as her health dips below 50% with the health potion still on cooldown. As it happens for a second time and our health drops to 1/3, then 1/4, I decide to bravely run away.
He's buggered off. So he has, he's scarpered.
That was a close one. I think about engaging for a second round, but completing hardcore is, well, it's quite difficult to do when you're dead. We rescue a lowly cook named Ulgrim who seems to have suspiciously survived quite well considering this area of horrors that we find him in. I wonder if that will become relevant later. With Angrim and Ulgrim secure, Emmeline goes looking for Balros and Hagra for the Flesh and Iron quest, and I realise I don't quite know where the other burial cave is without the wiki open right next to me. However, I play on hoping that my pleb tier gameplay will be enough to distract you. Quest targets go down to the usual strategy and Emmeline finds some items that upgrade her elemental resistances. Again, we're aiming to cap those out at 80% by the end of Act 1. I accidentally leave Alistair's diary note on screen and I'm reminded how grim this game really is. It does not shy away from telling disturbing stories that show what a grisly world Cairn really is.
There were script problems from day one.
One startling example of this is the conversation you can have with Katrine in Port Valbury. Then later you find her note written to her daughter Alice in the Fleshworks. The lore notes are all very well written from a character point of view. I love how disappointed Alistair is that he never got to scare his sister with the frog. Yet this is followed up closely by the foreboding question about why Papa isn't home yet. I loved all these little lore notes during my first playthrough. I elect to secure Burridge Village portal and look for the burial cave later. We're doing well in terms of damage and survivability. The cultist orders let us know we have a traitor in our midst at Devil's Crossing. Maybe Emmeline can bring justice, or better yet, maybe she can let him off completely in return for a key that will save us, well, round about 2 minutes of farming time. It's a tough choice. I finally figure out where the burial cave is and head there for a devotion point as quickly as possible, thanks to our movement speed upgrade on our boots. One of my first characters was a purifier, and I loved the look of all the flame enchanted gear that dropped from Cronley's men. Great aesthetic, great theme, and of course desert.
Patrolling the Mojave almost makes you wish for a nuclear winter.
Emmeline puts more points into internal trauma to help with long boss encounters, and I realise how close to the burial cave I was while bravely running away from Gutworm. Some gloves to improve cast speed with some nice poison and bleed resistance. Emmeline clears out the remainder of the map up to the portal for some XP, striving for that level 20 before facing Krieg and then heading back to Devil's Crossing to hand in quests. Gruesome and bloody, just how I like it. That is the only correct response when handing this one in to Harmond. Oh, how easily Emmeline can be swayed with the promise of slightly less farming. Upon receiving friendly reputation with Devil's Crossing, Constance tasks us with tracking down some fabric which she will fashion into a new item for us with nice resistances. Emmeline makes an anti-venom salve for her belt, a ward stone for her amulet, corpse dust for her ring, and her resistances are starting to look more healthy. She keeps the purified salt for that fabled level 20, then clears her inventory. Back to Burridge Village, and Emmeline makes her way to the abandoned waterfront. Standing still and force waving all who oppose her as if there was a tempest in her.
There's a tempest in me.
She easily hunts down the fabric and looks forward to a nice new vest.
I really like the vest.
Emmeline finds another interesting Stardew Valley hat with some nice resistances, damage and armor buffs, but is reluctant to invest into the spirit for it. Instead, she chooses to invest all points into physique for that tanky HP that we will need to compensate for our, well, sloppy gameplay. Standstill, Force Wave, Loot Explosion, the way Chthon intended. Emmeline finds some new boots and chest armour to boost her resistances, getting ever closer to capped out elemental and poison, and she makes her way into Burridge Estates to find Krieg's residence. She gets lucky with the map layout and walks straight to her 6th devotion shrine outside of the Dank Cellar, which contains Kasparov's apprentice. Darlet seems relieved to be rescued, and we send her back to Devil's Crossing. With those side quests taken care of, Emmeline heads towards Krieg's place. She has Kraken on her mind and spends a few minutes looking around for ways to make it possible, but ends up working towards Falcon because, well, hey, it looks cool and it makes a funny noise. She meets heavy resistance at Warden Krieg's and so dispenses justice in the usual way. With his place looted and all his friends dealt with, Emmeline opens Krieg's portal and heads back to Devil Crossing to clean her bags. The new belt just about caps our elemental resist, and we have a very sturdy character for Act 1. We get a new vest from Constance.
I really like the vest.
And head to Angram to sort out poison resistance. 2 anti-venom salves take us to the cap, and that is our first resistance goal accomplished. 80% elemental and poison. The rest we will sort out later. Now, onto Warden's cellar, and we immediately start looking for that totem. Our usual strategy works out fine, and we don't even need a health potion. Obviously, the strategy tends not to work on veteran and usually leads to death. With that out of the way, we can rush for the next area, pick our last devotion shrine, hit level 20 and kill Warden Krieg. With the points in Force Wave, the Mastery Bar of Soldier, Physique, and Emmeline's Resistances, we are in no trouble in Warden's Krieg's cellar whatsoever. We will be extra safe in one more level when we can use Purified Salt for aether resistance against Krieg. Using the points from our last level, Emmeline starts pushing towards Oleron's Rage. Our health hits 2500 and we look very safe for Krieg. Emmeline reaches Despised Reputation with Ethereals and Beasts, and to be honest, the feeling is mutual.
I don't like you. In fact, I hate you. Stay the hell away from me. Because from now on, we're enemies.
They've attacked Emmeline from the very beginning when all she really wanted to do was show them her Force Wave of friendship. A great area to farm if you need aether crystals. You warp in at Hidden Laboratory and run backwards up to this point. There's no need to panic even though the enemy density is quite high in this area and upcoming areas because we have built our character in a very tanky way and their energy regen looks healthy enough that we won't be running out of potions anytime soon. Emmeline continues to pick up lore notes and extend her Force Wave of Peace to reach level 20. Our poison resistance and health regen are so good that we can stand here in this acid pool and not lose any health whatsoever. Finally, level 20 and we port back to Devil's Crossing to remove the chipped claw from our weapon and replace it with Purified Salt. We place the Ether Ward ability that it grants us on our back bar and toggle it on, giving us 20% extra aether resistance. Plenty to get us through Warden Krieg safely. My test character had 54 aether resist by this point, but I didn't get as lucky with drops with Emmeline, although 30% is more than enough. With all of our goals complete, we head for the inner laboratory and Warden Krieg himself. I wonder if he has been expecting us. Zanbrand falls to our ingenious tactics and Emmeline takes a moment to savour her resistances. Capped out, elemental and poison, 30% aether, looking pretty good.
I've been expecting.
Stand still and force wave. No health pots needed for the first form.
When I'm done with you, I will crush your friends at Devil's Crossing. You are strong. Now, I will...
Emmeline refills her energy and goes in for round 2. The second form, no health pots needed, and we barely get taken down to 50% HP. Even a bad player like me can get through this act easily with a little care and planning out a well built character. We report our success to Bourbon and make a silk swatch to add to our shoulders and an unholy inscription to our hands, which all help bolster our pierce, bleed and vitality resistance, which we'll be seeing a lot more of in Act 2. Pierce and bleed more so. And with that, all of our Act 1 goals are complete, so thank you for watching.